As we now head towards Christmas, of course, it's always good to share a little bit of royal news that you perhaps don't know, the bigger picture. That's what I love about this channel, being able to tell you the inside track, of course, that many others, dare I say, particularly the mainstream media, fail to do. Now, this particular headline caught my eye simply because, of course, it states that, as one knows already, the Duke of York, the former royal known, of course, as the Duke of York, His Royal Highness Prince Andrew, that he still likes to be titled, well, he's had yet another bad end to the year. So much so that he's been sort of disinvited to the family Christmas. Now, I think that's very hurtful because the bottom line is truly, when you dig a little bit deeper, there's far more to this story than meets the eye. But one might say, of course, there's a scapegoat, and that's the idea, and that then becomes the problem, doesn't it? The bigger picture is this. Fergie, his wife, affectionately known as Fergie, now of course the Duchess of York herself, is basically staying in Royal Lodge with him to keep him company. They're having their own private Christmas. The other side of it is that now Princess Beatrice apparently is also going to be joining them. And this is because, of course, that she's expecting a child and too dangerous to travel. That sort of stuff. Actually, not quite true. The true story is that the prince is very depressed, very down as one can imagine, and feels like he's just got one problem after another. And, you know, you have to applaud his daughter, Princess Beatrice. She's reaching out, making sure that even though she's got her hands full herself, she's looking after her father and indeed her mother. Whatever your thoughts are about these two, and I know there are plenty, good and bad, and there's also a planned expose book coming out in the early part of next year, just remember that whatever you read, there's always two sides to the story. It's a little bit like this particular story now, and this one will be trailed out literally over the festive period about exactly how the King and the Queen and of course Catherine, the Prince and Princess of Wales, will have reached out to Harry and Meghan, and there will be gifts for the children. Now, this is a story that they like to wheel out every single year. If you remember, the Queen apparently bought some kind of waffle maker for Archie, even though he could barely speak, but that's allegedly what he truly wanted. So what's the true story behind that story? Well, the true story is this. They have no idea what to buy. And according to that source, who's very well informed with inside palace walls, His Majesty the King feels that the only thing really he could offer would be some kind of voucher or something like that. Because literally they don't see them, they've got no pictures, there's no real contact. As I've told you before, His Majesty the King has had to limit contact with, of course, his youngest son, simply because of the stress factor of his ongoing cancer battle. As we all know, it's not come to a conclusion and treatment carries on into 2025. Queen Camilla, I have it from very good authority, is making sure that he's not going to be stressed in any way. So while the newspapers, magazines and digital platforms may come up with this particular story saying, oh, it's all nice and friendly, and yes, they still have Zoom chats and the children speak and wave to each other, George, Charlotte and Louis simply have no relationship whatsoever with Archie and Lil. And the other side of it is, neither do the adults, simply because to the royals, they're almost invisible, like the rest of us, right? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.